This news is just out about President Trump's expected executive order prioritizing federal funding for school choice programs. This could be a real game changer for the education field. Ralph, your thoughts on this turn of events?
Well, Jane, I have to say, this has been a long time coming. We've seen many debates about this issue, and it's about time we had concrete action. Moreover, it's essential to point out that the president's expected order directs the Secretary of Defense to formulate a plan to allow military families to use Defense Department funds for their kids' education in a school of their choosing. And
that's correct, Jane. It also broadly instructs the Department of Education to prioritize school choice through discretionary grant programs. Sounds like a plan that aims to enable low-income families to afford better schooling options.
Exactly. Plus, the executive order also necessitates the Department of Health and Human Services to issue guidance on how states receiving block grants for families and children can support private and faith-based institutions.
But let's also not forget that the upcoming National Assessment of Education Progress for 2024 anticipates around 40% of fourth graders not meeting basic reading levels, which is a record high, a worrisome statistic definitely.
I agree, and unfortunately, the data also shows that average reading scores for 4th and 8th graders are on a downward trend. I mean, according to the NAEP, 70% of 8th graders weren't proficient in reading and 72% weren't proficient in maths. That's just unacceptable.
It certainly seems that this is a pressing issue. However, it's essential to realize that federal funding accounts for a relatively small portion of public K-12 schools' funding, approximately 14%, according to the U.S. Census Bureau.
A fair point, Ralph, but the president is a long-time supporter of school choice, both during his campaign trail and his term. Let's see what kind of ripple effect this executive order may have.
It's also noteworthy that the order encourages the Department of Education to guide states on how to use federal funding formulas to support K-12 scholarship programs. It also instructs the Interior Secretary to submit a plan on how American Indian and Alaskan Native families can use federal money for their children's education.
That could be an excellent opportunity for those students. But what remains to be seen